Welcome to Human Design Playtime, the show that discusses the highest potential and the lowest shadows of ourselves and our playmates. We use ourselves as examples and take some bold liberties to discuss public figures, even the celebrities we love to hate. Bring your open mind and a sense of humor. Who knows? We may be talking about you.
But I do think that, and I can remember as a child, my mom saying it's like her asking me saying and something and me going, yeah. And she said, it's
Mhm.
not, it's yes.
I think the word that separated out is a word that
Mhm.
is dragging everybody to confusing places. But a natural generator, the guttural part. If it's guttural, it's not a word.
Mm.
When it's because it's like a pronounced with the mouth, That's, I believe that.
Yeah. And I've been working on this EQ thing with a advisor and looking at the transcripts. When he's talking, you can hear me going, like it's picking up on the transcript, and I'm like, that is just me. That is my sacral connecting. I'm not necessarily being like, like it's not conscious that I'm doing it. It is my body's sound picking in the recording, picking up me getting excited about the things that he's saying. So it's weird to think about public speaking and the push to like get rid of the generator ums or
I
because
think
few people know the difference.
this is such a good talk. I can't believe we weren't taping earlier because it really, like, the generator sacral sound. Can we put a big red X on when you pronounce it with your mouth and your lips? But the I love those. I
Mm.
look for those in people.
I do too, because how you know that somebody's a generator? If you hear them talking and they're like, like you can hear that they're generating, that their body's connecting to that.
Responding. And
Hmm.
I'm not a generator, but I still do it because I live in a generator world and it's just part of, the culture. I do.
Do you only do that when you're talking to generators? Do you
I
do
don't
it?
know. I don't know. I often, this is a very initiator thing of like, sometimes when I'm talking with people and they keep asking me questions, I like have a wall up. I'm like, in my head, I'm like, shut the F up in my head. Of course, I'm like, in my head, I'm like, shut the F up. Are you like, how do they not see that I'm not going to answer this question? How to, like, I feel like, how can you not tell that this is not the direction I want to go in the conversation? And I will do silence and I will have to make myself talk.
So in class the other day, one of the other students who is an advisor said that she asks generators yes or no questions, but she asks initiator open-ended questions. And I thought, is that right? Should you be doing that? Or should you be making statements to it? And there wasn't like a pause for me to get that question out there, but I really was thinking, oh, I want to know from the initiators, do they want questions or do they want statements?
Oh, I can only speak for myself
Mm.
and some people I know. I can handle some questions and I think it's fun,
Mhm.
but I get irritated if people don't read me, feel me when I'm like, no, no. And they keep going along questioning lines. And I'm like, I have something to say. I will share anything, but let me say it my way. And I don't want to answer a question unless I really don't. Um, if I've hit a roadblock, if I've hit a roadblock with the content with that person, or that person I feel is trying to funnel me into an answer, I don't like that. And I'm sure nobody likes that.
No,
Uh,
being led down a path per se.
mhm.
But definitely, if it feels that way, then they're not doing their questioning correctly.
Yeah. And I have learned, I have a family member who's also the same type as me, and I make more statements than I ask questions.
Mm.
And I'll go, this is what I want. Let's see if it happens. This is what I want. This is what I'd like. I would love for this to happen. And if I feel a warmness coming, I go, can you do it? And then we're in it. But if there's like a rock wall with another manifestor or initiator, I'm like, all right, no, they'll come to me when they want to. Because otherwise it's going to be a battle of the walls. Like two manifestor, the force fields go up, and it's like two shields going up.
Mm.
And it doesn't happen often, but I have a family member who is the same as me, and we will occasionally get into a wall of silence, and then other people can see it. It's very visible. And then one of us has to just back down and just go, okay, we're having our own thing. We don't need to keep asking. It's not a time to go digging. I'm just speaking about like myself and like my other manifestor relatives,
Yeah,
of
yeah.
which there are not that many.
You don't have you don't know. Do you know a lot of manifestors?
I do.
Yes. And
I
what
do.
about unfamily members that are manifestors? Have you
I don't
recognized in them?
I don't tend to get in arguments with them.
Yeah.
I don't, but I know what it's like to get in one. But I
I think
don't.
like the closer the family member, the more likely that is to
Yeah.
happen.
And also, like, the more, I know what it feels like to have force field against force field or shield against shield, but I also know how tender it is to be next to another initiator. Like, we are the same energy type. Feels good,
Does it feel good?
very good.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I see that. Like, because it is definitely more comfortable to be around other generators for me, other builders. And, when I started pulling all my friends' charts after I learned about human design, like I am surrounded by generators,
Yeah.
which let's just go here because there's so much, like, it was so confusing during my Black Night of the Soul or whatever that was happening. And the confusing part is you attract what you are, opposites attract. Can we talk about that? And
Sure.
let's talk about what you feel about that because I think that it's so interesting because, yeah, I was surrounded by other generators. So, yeah, you attract what you are, but also, we're also like, I am attracted to people that have a defined conceptualization, defined inspiration. I love to hear how their mind works, but that doesn't mean that they're the same as me. They're different. They have different functions than I do. So let me hear what you think about all that.
Well, in terms of energy types, like, I do like other manifestors.
Mm-hmm.
And it's very funny. Like, I dance twice a week in New York, and there's one woman who I dance with. Just been in love with her since the first time I saw her. She just adores me too. It's just like one of those, like, oh, I've known you forever, I love you forever kind of things. And 6 months later, I read her chart with her, and it kind of explains a little bit of like just like a sigh of relief. But she and I never get into it. There's no friction, no argument, no pushing us towards something or a certain belief system or a certain something. So we don't feel that force field of clashing between us, but it is very comfortable. And when I'm around other generators, I do like it because I will not lie, and I borrow some of your energy. I do. I do. You have such an excessive amount, not just you, but like other people. And it's just coming off you like a dog, like shaking himself when he's wet, like, and then all the little water sparks come off. Like, so you guys are like that all the time with energy. I'm like, oh my God, let me get some of that. So that's nice, but I do get tired if I'm around generators for too long. I just had a house full of generators and one manifester. And it was great, but I can feel them through the wall. And this is the first 10 hours that they're gone, and I'm relaxing. I miss them.
Mm.
But I got a lot done while they were here.
Mm.
And in terms of advisor energy, I love my advisors. I have some very special advisor friends, like long-term friends and newer friends. And I like being noticed by an advisor because they are actually taking the time and the patience to understand, which I appreciate. It's very different. Um, I do get a lot. I get a lot irritated and like my eyes are going to dart around like I want to leave, even just talking about it, where I feel invaded by certain people who are not catching on the vibe of like, the answer is no right now. A, in my vibe, B, in my tone, C, in my words. Like, if they're not catching all those things and the pointedness keeps coming, it makes me just want to shake my head and leave. Like, it's hard. And it's just, I don't know that they're aware. And I really feel like a couple of years ago, I was like, okay, universe, send me all the projectors you have. And then and the universe did. And then those are the only clients I got, or maybe 90% of my clients were generators. I mean, sorry, projectors for like 2.5 years.
Mm.
And I feel like because I'm a manifester with only projected channels, I have a lot more empathy and comprehension of what it's like to wait, wait for the recognition, wait for the right timing. There's the bulldozer manifester side of me of like, I don't care what y'all think. I'm doing it now. And I'm not even asking. I'll let you know about it. It's almost done. Like, that's not the right way to go about it, but that's that manifester thing. But I really understand the projectors and I like being around a lot of them, especially when they're calm and they're living the right life for them.
A healthy lifestyle.
Yeah. And I'm sorry I left out the reflectors, but I have a couple reflector clients.
Mm-hmm.
Two of them are unreachable. They come to me. They don't answer my emails or texts, and I don't take it personally, but they reach out to me when they want me. And then the other one is another dance friend of mine. And the energy I felt like different between two manifestors clashing. It's like like that, but with manifestor reflector, I felt like it felt like metal. It felt like metal and a boulder and like almost like I kept getting close to her and I kept saying to her, I feel you physically pushing me away. She goes,
Mm.
no, get closer. I like you. I like you more than I like other people. I was like, but your energy is pushing me away. But you know what I'm thinking is if she's a reflector, I'm actually experiencing myself.
Mm.
That's
Mm.
how other people experience me, as a force, being force. So I'm also aware of that and how other people might experience me.
Mm.
And then if I match that with like pushy words and pushy tone, ho ho, I'm hated or I'm hired, like they're like, oh yeah, we need you for this. We need a manifestor for this project. Just get it done. Okay. But I have to be different. Um, I, it was an interesting experience of my own energy.
I could see that. I have a reflector client, and then was in a class with another reflector, and he said that my energy felt like a cheerleader. I was like, not ever been a cheerleader, as I like to dance to the beat of my own drum.
Integration in the house. Yeah, okay.
Yes, yes. And maybe that is sometimes I feel some resistance with the projectors or the advisors, but it's probably when they're not waiting for the invitation, when they're telling me what to do. And I don't do well with that. I don't do well with that. And it's funny because I think about one advisor in particular, and she doesn't do well being told what to do either, but also likes to, give her well meaning advice. It just needs to be when it's asked for.
Hmm.
And I would ask for that advice more often if I wasn't being told what to do when I wasn't asking, because that just turns me off.
Yeah, I think you and I have something in common with your integration channels and my manifestor energy, plus the gate 21 of, hey, we can play ball.
Mm.
Don't be too pushy. Don't, don't.
Or at least start with, hey, would you like to hear my opinion? So I can give a yes or no. And and then if I say, yeah, sure, then I've accepted it, right? But whenever you're like, hey, you should do this and this and this, I'm like,
That makes me laugh because I'm thinking of like the very New York, the Brooklyn guys, like, what you got to do is, let me tell you what you got to do is, but that's coming from a place of love. It's like a cadence. It's a certain way of speaking within some of our communities here. Like, what you got to do is, but that means someone's noticing you trying to help. And so that for some reason does not bother me at all. If I know it's cultural and coming from love, but if I don't know the person, I have to suspend some intention. I don't know what they mean. Yeah, I totally get that.
yes,
And
yes,
if I know the person historically to like where there's any kind of friction or, questioning, like, where is this coming from? My flares will be up.
yes. Hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I still have so much to practice in terms of talking to the other types. And I've been practicing for 4 years. It's practice. And for whoever is listening, practice. I am the experiment for my life. Tammy's the experiment for her life. Now we're experimenting together. And then, we encourage people to take the material, take what you can, and play with it.
Yeah,
Hire somebody, make it easier on yourself, or do the slow, painful way of like drag this thing out for 25 years. Whatever way works for you is just your business. Do what you got to do. Like I did not hire someone right away, and that's how it went.
yeah. Me either. And because it was really a very hard time for me that during that financially. But man, sometimes I'm like, wow, you would have been so much more ahead if you had just invested a little bit of money in yourself, Tammy. Just invested in yourself. And I was, but it was really a little more manifesting generator of me, not necessarily where I needed to go, but was still investing and bumping around.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of manifesting generators, do you feel like talking about our manifesting generator guest public figure, Parker Posey?
Sure, we can talk about Parker Posey. Now, and we've talked about this, but I don't know a lot about Parker Posey. I've not seen a lot of her movies. Um, and I tried to watch The White Lotus to kind of prepare for it. It's just like I'm just not responding to it. It doesn't light me up. And I don't watch a lot of TV anyway. So if I'm going to watch it, it's going to be something that I'm into. And so it's funny that because I am seeing a lot of people talking about the show, but it wasn't responding. I wasn't responding. And I love that you said that we don't have to always agree on the people and we can have a different view. And I was like, oh yeah, that is so true. the the people pleasing of Tammy was like, oh, I can't just get on and talk about somebody and be all excited about them. And you're like, you don't have to. And I was like, oh, I
Yeah.
feel so safe right now.
Oh, you don't have to.
I'm gonna move out.
I'll be enthusiastic about her.
I'm gonna move out of the way here a little bit just so
Okay.
I can get a little view of her chart, and then I'll have it up on another screen for myself to look at. But she has a lot of definition.
She does. Can I talk a little bit about her first? Just a little bit.
Please,
Thank you.
yes.
I'm the big fan of Parker Posey. We went to the same college. We didn't know each other. We were there for different reasons. But Parker Posey's on everybody's mind lately because of the White Lotus thing. No, hypernet, tsunami, Buddhism. I just don't think at this age I am meant to live an uncomfortable life. Like, I love her lines. I love her lines. She was raised in Monroe, Louisiana and Laurel, Mississippi. So she's got like such a great accent all the time, every day. I don't have a good Southern accent. I like to try, but not great. She's best known for her roles in things like Dazed and Confused, lots of indie films like Clock Watchers and Day Trippers, and one of my favorites, Party Girl, The Land of Milk and Honey, and the mockumentary series like was it Waiting for Guffman and Best in Show. Ugh, Best in Show. I saw that with my mother twice, and my mom never watched movies twice. She's
Hmm.
an author, and anyway, I'm a big fan. And of course, since there are like 70% of people in the world being generators or builders, we're going to get a lot of generators, and she's another one. And she's a manifesting generator like Tammy. But now, again, Parker Posey is not our client. We don't have her exact birth time. We can reliably go, oh, she was born in this place, in this location, but we don't have her correct birth time. But we're using the best one we can find.
Yeah,
Uh,
we did actually find hers on the internet though, where it was out there on several different sources. So I would feel a little more confident that we're closer than we might be with some people that we didn't find any kind of information on.
yeah, and Tammy's our birth chart researcher. And this is really so we're gonna go with this chart because this is the closest. And like the differences between your chart and her chart is she's heavy on the right, you're heavy on the left, meaning you have a lot more integration. She doesn't have any. And
Yeah.
she's got that
She's got the tribal leader trait, the 4521, which we have, you and I have as
together.
electromagnetic connection, meaning that I have the 45 and Janet has the 21. So when we come together, we have this strength that Parker has on her own. And it's about the tribe, leading the tribe through education, and kind of controlling the resources.
Yeah, material wealth for the tribe.
The thing that I noticed about her is that she has a collaborative assimilation. She may sometimes struggle with speaking her mind.
Mhm. Yeah, and feeling all the excellent strengths in her chart until she's with the right person or the right place or on a certain day of the month. That
Mm.
time of the month has a whole other meaning. The
Yes.
planetary changes. It's that time of the month. I get to feel all of myself. Like I would just love to do comedy for human design. I would love to just, oh, rah, can you bleep? Oh, I will not. CURSE on camera. Oops. Only on stage.
My son said that when he was looking to post the videos, he was like, "Did you say SHIT?" And I was like, "I don't know. I didn't re-listen to that one. Maybe."
I'm sorry if it was me. I'll work on it.
That's all we can do. We
I'm
just
working on my ums.
mm.
I'm working on my mouth ums. Like I'm working on getting rid of those and the curses. Well, thank you to your son.
For noticing. Yes, is good. So that's one of the things that I noticed. The other thing that I noticed about her design is she has that 214, which is about direction. Like she probably has always known her direction, and maybe has even been helpful for the direction of people in her community.
And part of a cast. Being part of a cast, I would imagine, on projects, movies, plays, etc. You know, hearing the other actors from White Lotus talk about their experience of working with Parker, like they love it. Um, and she's been at it longer than these young whippersnappers who are just starting out.
Yeah. Her core essence, which that is like if so when you're looking at somebody's chart, their core essence are the top placements. Um, where hereby it says the E. So over on the other side though, the 1.3, it is about someone who knows how the ideas and the plan can become part of the creative identity of the group. I think that's so beautiful. And then her profile is a 3-6 express builder. So the three is this um, adventurer, pioneer that they're learning through trial and error. And then the sixth is the leader or role model that has three different life phases. So birth to 30, they're living in that third line phase, which I would wonder with Parker if those first 30 years were like doubly challenging because she would be a 3-3 during that time. And then from 30 to 50, they go up onto the roof to kind of heal from those first 30 years. And so I would wonder, did she have a lot of movies in that 20 years? Because it looks to me like maybe she had a lot of stuff in the 80s, and then she maybe took a little bit of a hiatus or, a break ish. And then now I think she's in her 50s.
I think she and I are a year apart. Yeah, she's in her 50s. I mean, she did more indie movies in her earlier life, and then she still does indie movies
Mm-hmm.
and some blockbuster, really juicy roles, really great roles. I mean, even the White Lotus role she's not the main character, but she's one of the main characters, and she makes it unforgettable. If we have her right birth time, that's a really interesting chart to have, is a 3 and a 6 in the profile. What do you think about her defined emotional system? You and I don't have that,
Mm.
and how it's connected. What do you think about all that?
So she has a tribal wave, the 59 to the 6, which takes another person to bring her wave to fruition. And it's considered a more of a stable wave, stable emotional. So my husband had that full strength. Um, and I know that in class, our teacher has talked a little bit about being in partnerships with somebody, because I have the 59 and you have the 6, so we have it as an electromagnetic again. But I feel like that was fine for me. Like, I think that we always shared a lot of intimacy. I never noticed that I wasn't able to be myself, like where some people say that, if somebody has that full strength and you have just a portion of it, especially with it being like my 59 is in my core essence. So it's a big part of who I am. I didn't really notice that with him, but I would say he had open identity. So maybe when we were together, he was also feeling my identity. So it wasn't as conflicted, or what's the word? Um,
Compromise.
that's it, compromised. So it didn't feel as compromised as some of the others that, like I have my 55 in my grounding essence, and somebody else close to me has the full strength, and that I feel more, but I didn't feel it in a bad way. I don't feel like with my husband, maybe because of the relationship that it was. I'm not sure.
Do you find, as a generator with an open emotional system, do you find the attraction or the interest or the allure in the defined emotional people?
I have a lot of them around me. I don't know that I feel it as an attraction as much. I mean, I guess that it is that whole opposite attract piece that comes to play with the opposite functions. I can get mentally defensive with their emotions at times when I'm not recognizing that they're not upset with me, because sometimes I think that the defined emotional people, they share their emotions so beautifully, and a lot of, like, as an outsider looking in, like, I feel like being able to really express what you're feeling in the moment is very powerful, where I feel like all my life I've been picking up somebody else's emotions and amplifying it or distorting it at different times, where the last 4 or 5 years of learning that I do that has helped me to hold space for their emotions and look at it almost like standing outside. I need to stand outside and watch their emotional process and not personalize it. I think that that's where I'm trying to say is I've personalized it and it's not personal.
Yeah. That's like the advice for us, the us types,
Yes. How about you? Is how
the
do you?
white triangle people, of noticing what's mine and what's theirs.
Mm-hmm.
I just watched recently a small friend group. This one woman, how do I explain this? So she emotes, she's very effusive.
Mm.
She's around other people who don't. And so she looks like white-eyed, where there's white on top of the iris, there's space between if your upper eyelid goes up, like crazy, in quotes, crazy, 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 showing too much white like that. See, like that.
Mm.
She appears more emotional than the people around her. And she amplifies everything, everything. And I think she's so young, she doesn't know that it's not hers.
Mm-hmm.
And it takes time. Like I honestly, you know how they say like shying away, the shadow is shying away and avoiding confrontation and truth, just avoiding it, like, because it's just too awkward and uncomfortable, the emotional stuff, the nervous system. Like, I relate to that,
Mm-hmm.
better at it, definitely better at it. Like,
Yeah.
I feel like indestructible when I go, this chaos is not mine, and not even judging it, going, I don't have to participate. But there are some people who are so huge in their power and their expression that I feel like power washed, like whoa, like a fake wind on a movie set, whoa, whoa. Like that's how I feel. It's pretty rare, but I felt it recently, and I went, holy cow, that's bigger than what I can manage right now. But it was just really interesting watching this one friend group and
And
watching myself around that friend group. Yeah.
are they in the undefined club like you and I, where we have this
Yes.
right here is where
Yep.
we're talking about and
Yep. Undefined. Mm-hmm.
versus when Janet and I come together over here, the defined is the little brown triangle. That's the where the emotional intelligence is in our chart. So we have it defined when we're together. We have it as electromagnetic, but when it's just when each one of us are just alone, we
Yeah.
don't. In human design or energetics, 1 + 1 = 3.
Right.
So one person plus the other person equals a third energy type. And this isn't just Janet and I, this is every human. When you are with somebody else, you are creating a third energy and understanding and being able to not personalize things like somebody else's emotions or somebody else's thoughts or their stress. Like so many things we can take in and amplify or distort. And so understanding and learning who you are when you're alone is one of the biggest gifts you can give yourself.
Mm-hmm. That is so well put. Yes. Nicely said. There's my one-handed clapping. My claw clap.
Well, today has been fun. We got to talk a little bit about Parker. We jumped right into recording because we had already been having a conversation and realized that it was getting really good. So we just went on in and recorded. So, you know, you just never know what you're going to get with us. But I think that's part of the fun. We're just here for playtime.
Yeah. And hopefully you'll be able to like identify with either Tammy or myself or the third person we're talking about, or at least something, at
Mm.
least something.
And one more thing on the whole third person that we're creating. I thought it was so beautiful in class the other day when our teacher brought us up, like talking about our podcast and, you know, went through our collaborative chart and discussed it and the whole 9 and 0, nowhere to go. Like Janet and I feel like we have known each other forever, even though we really have known each other. I mean, at this point, it's probably been 6 weeks or maybe 8 weeks, like
Couple
where we've
months.
been having conversations, but you know, true to Tammy's manifesting generator, like, hey, we should do this. Let's jump in and build it on the way. We did. And I appreciate Janet for coming along for the ride. And it's been fun so far.
And it was so right on when he was like, so because Tammy's a manifesting generator, she's going to be like, latch onto something and go, go, go. And she's going to do all the work. And then hopefully she won't feel resentful because Janet, Janet only has one motor. See that little red triangle? Janet only has one motor and it works very powerfully for a while. And then she is napping. Like we don't want Tammy to feel like taken advantage of. And Janet needs to make sure that Tammy knows that she is appreciated. And like we knew from the beginning that like I can barely use a computer when I have two hands. And now I don't even have two hands. But I do so much. I want to publicly appreciate Tammy for doing the back end, the graphics, the computer, the buttons, the things I don't understand, editing, things like that. I will just be the enthusiasm, sharing it, exactly, coming along for the ride.
Coming
And
along.
I love it. It's such a joy. It's such a joy.
Janet brings the centering to it. Like together, not only do we have integration together, but together we have the full centering strength too. So I feel like that's also what you bring, like we bring together is I have the 1034, which is the little C looking thing over there, and then Janet's 5125 is, which is what where her willpower connects to her identity and direction. That strength, they become a circuitry that's called centering. And I can feel that from you, like how centered and balanced you are, even through your tragedy and accident that happened right before we were getting ready to start this amazing project, that you have stayed so present and so centered. And I know that you're going through a lot with that, but you have such a beautiful attitude and such a beautiful spirit, and I just appreciate you.
Oh, thank you, Tammy. I appreciate you too. We're making a puppet show.
So now that we've loved and appreciated each other, if you guys need any support, you need anything from us, please do reach out. Continue to, tune in to us as you can, and we will see you next time. Or you'll see us, I guess. We're not going to see you. I haven't really seen each other, but we'll talk at you next time, and we are
We'll holler at you.
in the comments. So
Thank you. Bye, guys. Bye, Tammy.
bye.